Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with Internal Revenue Service. Welcome to my YouTube station. It's the home of the 5-minute or less video. I have worked at IRS for a decade. I've been in private practice for 4 decades. I've been doing this 50 years. I'm a national expert in IRS resolution matters. Many of you have seen me on all the national broadcasts I've been on. You can see me, more importantly, my team, on my website at 777irs.com. Got a very, very talented team of people behind me, of former IRS agents, CPAs, and tax attorneys. You get fitted with the best person for your need. Anyway, I do these videos for 3 reasons. So you don't get ripped off, and you don't get ripped off. Actually, I do them for educational purposes, some just for public service so you know what to do. And I love you to make informed decisions on whatever you have. I don't need to read a script. I've been doing this just so long, I don't need to wear a fancy suit and tie. You want what's in my head and my brain and nothing else. Today I want to talk to you about how to represent yourself before the Internal Revenue Service, or if I'm doing the work, how I would defend a payroll tax case. It's very important that you understand payroll taxes and what they actually mean and do. The IRS 941 payroll tax is the #1 case that IRS works, that they want to work, they want to get into, and they want to delve into. Why? It's not a tax at all. It's money that you have held in trust for your employees, and you were supposed to turn it over to the federal government. Guess what? That did not happen. So me, as a revenue officer, has actually monthly reports that come to me of people that owe federal tax deposits. They come to me on a special list of people in my zip code or my area of people that have not filed and complied with the filing of their 941s and or their federal tax deposits. Right now, there is a shortage of revenue officers and help, so IRS can't come to them, but these are called FTD alerts. They may be named something else in different areas, but that is what their core means. So why would IRS really want to attack you for this, and why will they go after you and make your life miserable? Like I said, one reason: you collected tax for the government and you didn't turn it over. So knowing that and knowing how bad IRS is going to be on you, how do you defend that, and what do you do to go ahead and prevent IRS from just closing your doors? Well, there's 2 simple steps, and if you do these, you'll have a really good day with IRS. The first is make sure all your tax returns are filed. IRS wants to make sure your returns are filed, and let's say we're in the month of June, you'll want to make a current tax deposit for June. Basically, what IRS wants to know is you're willing to work with them and you fix the problem. How'd you fix the problem? All returns were filed and you made a current federal tax deposit in the month we're in. So now IRS can draw a line in the sand and say, boy, they're going to do good. Now we just have to work on the back debt. And that's what IRS wants you to do. They want you to work with the back debt. The problem is you may have 2 payments you need to consider: a federal tax deposit, which you haven't been making, and a back payment to Internal Revenue Service. So you just need to know that if you want to stay in business, IRS is going to probably ask for that. Now, there is an alternative. IRS is going to come out and get a financial statement from you. It's called a 433B, which is the business financial statement. IRS is going to look closely at assets you may want to get rid of to pay the tax. They're going to look at loan possibilities within that company, but more importantly, they're going to also look at receivables, and they're also going to be looking at very, very closely your income to expense ratios to make sure you're not taking more money out of the business that you really need to take care of. As a former agent, I look closely on monies you would spend for dining and maybe a car payment, and sometimes that adds up to a couple $1,000s a month. Well, as a revenue officer, I'm going to shut that stream down, and I'm going to want that on a monthly basis. So IRS can ask for 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months. There's things we can do as former IRS agents that we know that kind of our little couple tricks and all that, but I don't give away that secret sauce here. Also, you have to know that IRS many times will take a 433A financial statement. That's the personal financial statement. They're going to do this for a couple reasons. They want to see if you have been taking money out of the company or you have assets that you can pay the IRS. Now, the big white elephant in the room is the trust fund recovery penalty. Many of you are not aware of that. There's a 6672 penalty that's incurred by people who are responsible to pay the tax. A responsible person could be a person who wrote checks, signed corporate resolutions, made contracts, had the right to hire or fire. There's a number of things that person could do to control the company. IRS is looking for control and who controlled money. What IRS does, they come in and they set up what's called the trust fund penalty against those people. It's the money that you as a corporate officer or responsible person was to hold in trust. What does that money represent? The money represents the withholding and 1/2 of the Social Security. That's the money you withheld and held in trust for the federal government. If you didn't pay it, IRS is going to come after you personally for that money. As a former revenue officer, I would go out, I would secure a 4180 interview. You better be familiar with that because IRS is going to want that. They're going to look at canceled checks, corporate resolutions, who signed checks, everything to make a determination who is responsible. So owing IRS payroll tax debt is a little more time consuming than you may want to think, but IRS is going to make sure you're current, you filed all your returns, they're going to set the administration of the trust fund penalty up, and they're going to make sure that they go after the people who are responsible, and if they have to, they'll file liens, levies, and wage garnishment. So you know what you have to do. So would you go ahead and give me a subscription? I gave you everything you needed to know, and be careful. Should you get represented or shouldn't you? If it's a small case, represent yourself. If it's a large case, it's a large liability, don't represent your case. You're going to get slaughtered. Trust me, I know. I was on the other end that would slaughter you. Don't forget, please, I can help you. I would love the subscription.